Det är bara så här.
Where are we, Liz?
It's quite lovely, quite brilliant actually.
Here we are out in the English countryside with a couple of locals.
So, walk around and just go back to the car. We should go way around. I'd like to get a look at the music because you have a range of it. But if you want to go back, that's quite fine with me. But
So this is then actually salt water. It's part of the
since it's not your boat.
Yeah, no, it's unfair. I have to pay for it.
And Sandri's
See
boat
over there behind the sailboat is a public beach area.
Oh, yes.
So the schools often go down there on days like this.
It'd be much better to be down here than to be in the classroom.
Yep.
They're small ones.
11 feet, yeah. That is. You wonder sometimes, huh?
This grey house is really one of Sarah's friends since generations have been living there.
And they're right on the water. Right on the water.
I see a little bit more of the islands.
Do they get water in their basement?
Yeah. But they have a pump now.
Why?
But there was 1 year the pump striked, so
Beautiful.
I had to. Oh, that looked different.
This is our greenhouse. I saw the lady there mowing her lawn the other day, and I was almost walking up to her saying, "What are you doing?"
You leave me your house when you die. Can I be your adopted son?
I'd like to move to a small apartment.
Yeah,
It's
it
much
looks-
easier to maintain.
Very good point. Always maintenance.
And you can take over her house and
Our house would be much more manageable. Let's get a view of the group here. It's our tour guide.
Hi, hey.
Can't hide from the camera.
There we go.
and that's a before and before on Saturday. It's just a little bit.
Thank you.
Not too much. So
Oh, yeah. Leaving Nautiloi on the ferry. coming into harbor
you'll know.
Fredrikstad.
then they'll be here. Otherwise, we have to hop on the bus and push because I think they actually live a bit north of Frederikshavn. This is south.
They was made by stone in rock.
Var du med på det där lite som du på? Det är gula hästar och jag har en syster. Okay. Something from Brown in the queue.
Do an itchy.
Yes. And then you... So if someone had come and actually painted over this like that, I haven't been here before.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
You can read about it down there, but not about this ice. Och där är det igen, där det tar många eller?
Here also by a weekend. And in 1500 there was a war with the Swedes and they burned down the whole town. The bullet would follow the ground with that all the
So
way.
the cannons are around here, but
Yes.
the Swedes came this way.
They entered out here.
Oh, out here and came over the land and came in that way. Yeah.
My paper from home, I open it up. Lindsay Lohan, Britney Spears.
There's like, oh.
Summer of '07.
So I think Liz and Boo are both very excited to go to Seattle for different reasons, right?
That's our ferry.
And I think I didn't have a window seat, but I think there were two.
But to pay for stuff? Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
Liz,
if
what
they
does
accepted it
contra
I
flying
don't know.
spental mean?
I don't know. But if they had to accept money from all the countries that flew.
Okay, John the car guy's going to tell us about how to get a car, how to get the truck going. Okay, man, you're on.
Well, the wife is determined that my old '98 Ford pickup is time to get down the road. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of detail it, clean it up, touch up a few things on it, and get it ready to put on the market. First thing I've already done is
Why?
give it a good bath.
Why do you need to? Why is it important to do that?
It's important to make the vehicle look as good as possible because that has a big effect on the retail value of the vehicle. Better it looks, more money it's going to be worth. There's a lot of little things you can do that don't cost a huge amount of money if you're doing it in your driveway like I am. First thing we have to do is we give it a really good bath. Get it as clean as it can be, and what's left is what we have to work with. You need to find out what some of the small problems are that are underneath that dirt and kind of evaluate, see how much money we need to spend on it and what kind of products we'll need to do the job. So what I've already done is given it a quick bath. Nothing spectacular because we may end up washing it again. We're going to try and buff out some of the scratches that just came with use over the years. The paint's still in pretty good shape, so we'll give it some wax. We're going to clean up the wheels and tires, kind of dress up some of the accessories like our running boards. I've added a few items like a toolbox and some of these plastic rain gutters just to kind of dress the old girl up. There's a lot you can do without spending a fortune just to make it look a lot more like it did when you first got it. It's been a great old trick. It's been a great old truck with 106,000 miles. It'll make somebody a really good vehicle. So let's go ahead and get started. I've done part of this already for the sake of time. What we're going to attack now is basically this quarter panel from here clear to the back. You can see we have a number of scratches and things. Some of these are going to come out pretty well. Some of these aren't going to come out. But again, it isn't a new truck. So, but I have pretty high expectations that it's going to turn out nice. Now, some of the products we'll be using today, because I'm basically fairly lazy, I've picked up a waxing machine and a buffer, fairly inexpensive. I think I paid $25 for this at a local auto supply. And we use two kinds of pads. We have a pad to apply the wax, and we'll have another sheepskin pad after the wax dries to a haze and get our shine back. This will basically take off any wax or anything that's on the paint and hopefully bugs and scratches as well. We're going to use a multi-purpose product here, which is a cleaner and a wax. There are many different products on the market. This one is kind of a one-step, and I think a lot of people will like that. Professionals would take a little different approach, but it's quite a bit more expensive too. They have air buffers and things that take a very high degree of skill, and your average guy could run into problems burning paint and that sort of thing. Without years of experience, you really don't want to tackle that. So let's go ahead and grab our wax and our buffer. We're going to head on back to this quarter panel and see if we can make it wake up a little bit.
Okay, let's do a reset here. We've washed, so that's essentially part one. We've got it cleaned up. We're ready to start buffing out these scratches, something like that. Okay.
Okay, we've got her waxed.
Got her cleaned.
Okay, we've got her washed and cleaned. And what we're going to do is we're going to apply some material. You can see some of the fine lines. I'll be able to get most of that out and put a nice shine on it. So you'll kind of tend to overlook some of the other little owies that may or may not. This is a cleaner wax, so it will remove a lot of the bugs and tar. And the machine here will kind of help gently. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply some of this material. Kind of like that. First, we don't want to be slinging it everywhere, so we're going to kind of rub it around, get the pad on a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find out why it doesn't work. And maybe have to go plug it in. So let's get some electricity in the program here.
Okay. And where do you find that? Do you buy it, or do
most houses will have electricity?
you can plug it in right here?
Okay. This is a really good start. Electricity can be your friend. Okay, like I've shown you, we got a little compound on the material itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to work it in. You go with all different strokes, up and down. You don't want it too much like this, or you will put swirls in it. And you can see the material is kind of wet, which is what we want. Keep moving it around while it's wet.
Be really careful around the pinstripe.
Be careful around the pinstripe. With this type of buffer, it's not really critical, but with a commercial air buffer, it'll burn those right off fast. Okay, we're going to kind of work our way down here. Lay down another line of cleaner wax. You can see I'm putting it on fairly wet because I'm trying to take off some of the material. It'll take off the oxidized paint, it'll take off bugs, it'll take off some tar. Kind of watch your sun reflection in it, and it'll tell you that you haven't missed any spots. Then a little bit of extra time on some of the obvious places. Here we've got a little bug thing. That's actually kind of in the paint, so it may be hard to get it. It will look better anyway. Work our way all the way down to the bottom here. We're going to wash it again, so don't worry about getting a little bit of stuff on there. Again, let's spread it out nice and smooth. And don't be afraid to use the edge. Kind of work it right on in there. Get as close as you can. You may have to get in there with a rag and get some of the really tight spots. With this type of wax, you can actually go over the chrome and the plastic parts as well, because it's also a polish for chrome. Okay. So we've gotten from here, from the pinstripe on down. You can see a light haze just starting to set up there. And you can see the scratches right here. We're going to take a look at these scratches a little later, and wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of disappeared.
Okay, where are they?
Got some horizontal scratches right in here, and I think those will come out with this cleaner wax.
Let me see if I can see that on the camera here. Yeah, I can see those scratches.
Okay, now we'll get up here on the high part. Kind of rub your wax around so it doesn't throw it everywhere. You can see how I'm trying to get it on evenly. And you can kind of see where you've been. You can see the swirl of that fresh wax. Now what it does is it works its way right into the paint finish too. Besides cleaning off the old oxidization, it also kind of freshens up the paint and moistens it up a little bit. Dry paint gets flaky, and with the new clear coats, you don't want that.
So what kind of paint job would benefit from buffing like this? How do you determine whether or not this would actually be a good thing to do?
Well, this is a good thing to do on pretty much any types of paint jobs. Some of the stuff that's older and more oxidized, you will have to get into a lot more strenuous workout with it. Again, there's products for paint that is really bad. This paint isn't real bad, so I'm not trying to make it look new. I'm just trying to give it that little bit extra life that will help me get a good price for the vehicle on the market. This is probably an average paint job in terms of condition. Okay, now what we've done here is we got our wax on. I started from here. We got it clear down to the bottom. And you want to work in sections. So we did get a little bit of extra wax here and there. We'll just kind of wipe that off. So if it's fairly thin, it dries much easier.
Okay, now we do, now it's like we've done the buffing, now it's time to wipe it off. Okay, just gonna say that.
Okay, it's time to kind of wipe off your excess now. And while you're doing that, your wax will go ahead and dry on the paint so that we can buff that off, and you'll be able to see a big difference in the shine. Okay, we're going to take our buffing machine. We're using two types of pads. This one is a cleaner and an application pad for putting on the material. Now I'm going to go grab a sheepskin pad, which is what you would use to buff that out to a gloss. Go ahead and switch pads. Now you can do this by hand as well. You don't necessarily need a machine. You can do it with mom's towels if she doesn't catch you. We switch to a nice soft pad here. Now this is a really thick pad, and what it'll do is it'll absorb all the wax dust.
No, I haven't. Go get it. And we're recording here, so just give us some space. Okay.
Well, you can see a haze that's developed, and I've waited long enough. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this haze off, and it's going to leave behind a nice clean paint with some carnauba on it. Basically we're doing the same thing. You're removing what you just put on. And this works just as well by hand. Try and hit all these areas that we previously got wet. Now the scratches we showed you earlier, if you get a good camera angle, you'll see that those actually disappeared. We were able to remove those and leave a nice factory shiny finish. It's little details like this that make a vehicle look much better. And like I told you, some of these little bugs may or may not come out. There's one down here that really didn't come out. It's actually a chip in the paint, so I didn't have much expectation of that, but overall it's really looking quite nice. The factory finish is coming back.
Is there a danger of going through the clear coat?
There's no danger with a machine like this. This is actually an orbital. It goes in a direction like this, and it doesn't spin very high like the electric or the air ones do, so there's not much danger of burning the paint with this type of machine. And like I say, they're fairly inexpensive, and they'll last for many, many years. This is safe enough. I actually go right over my plastic and window and chrome with this particular type of machine. Now we're going to bring it clear on down to the bottom and get rid of this residue. You can see it did a really nice job on the chrome and on the painted plastic trim as well. Take it right on down, get it right up into your crevices. And what we want to do is we want to remove all that wax that we laid on there. And you can see it makes a big difference. It's more of a vibrating pad. It's more of a vibrating pad, yes. Well, when I get done, my wife may see the truck and tell me I don't have to sell it, so this may be worth more than I thought.
There's always a danger of falling in love with the vehicle, isn't there?
There is, sure. Okay. When you're done with that, there'll be a little bit of residue, a little bit of dust, but when you wipe that off, you can see the paint is really nice underneath and much closer to what it looked like when you picked it up at the showroom floor.
Okay.
For a while, but just never quite got around to it. Well, I guess now is the time to do it. Some of
You'll
the
have
paint.
to take the key out so that noise won't work. Okay, start over.
We got a couple spots on the roof we're going to do. I've been meaning to do this for quite a while, but never quite got around to it. But I guess now is the time to get around to it. We had some strips on both sides where the paint just really didn't stick well, and over the years it kind of blew off. So what I've done is I've laid down masking tape on both sides. You can see it's an indentation. And this is just an example of some of the small things you can do to kind of hide blemishes and just make it a little more attractive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down a coat of flat black paint that looks a lot like rubber molding that matches on the outside. So we're giving this a couple of coats because the paint was a little bit rough underneath.
How did you prep it before you?
We, in order to prep this, basically I just took a little sandpaper and knocked off some of the big chunks. I don't have a lot of time for this project, and I really didn't want to go back in and break factory finish and have it painted. That could have been expensive. I can do this repair for just a couple of dollars. My friend at the paint store hooked me up with some paint and a small paintbrush, and by the time this levels out, it'll really hide some of the imperfections. We'll be removing the tape here in a bit, and we'll see that it really blends in nicely and hides the problem. Now, any kind of touch-up on the body can be done with either body color paint they sell in small tubes, or you can buy it even in spray cans with just a minimum amount of effort. Do a little practice on it and kind of get an idea of what to do, but it's fairly easy to work with. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let this set up now, and we're going to take a shot of the other side. The other side we've laid down just basically a first coat. Now I'm going to go back in and put one more coat on it, and then we'll be removing the paint here in about 10 minutes.
The tape. You'll be removing the tape.
We'll be removing the tape in about 15 minutes or so once the paint is fairly well set up. I'm not going to wait for it to become completely dry. It isn't really necessary. We're using a painter's tape, which doesn't adhere quite as harshly as some of the other paint does. So let's go ahead and give this another quick coat. Get it as even as you can, and it will level itself out. It's a good quality, like a Rust-Oleum, something that'll really hold up. I'm killing two birds with one stone here. What I'm doing is kind of hiding a blemish, but I'm also protecting the roof from rust and anything else that might be able to get into it. It isn't an actual seam, so it's strictly, again, cosmetic. Most of what we're doing today is cosmetic, and just trying to kind of dress it up, make it look a little closer to what it did in 1998 when I first got it.
Okay, the idea isn't to fake it, it's to make it look like it was taken care of.
Now the whole idea here is not to make it look like you Mickey'd it up and faked it. It's to make the truck look like it was well taken care of, which this is. I could have maybe done this a little sooner, but that's alright, it'll turn out just fine. It's the overall picture. When you first walk up to a vehicle, your first impression is, just like anything else, the most important. And if nothing really sticks out as being a serious problem, a lot of small things can be overlooked, especially on a used vehicle. Considering what vehicles cost these days, $10,000 for a really nice older truck that cosmetically looks good is really a good value for most people. Oh, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hop down now. We'll waited a long time, but you don't really have to with this type of paint. We'll
Tape.
remove our masking tape here and see that you won't really notice this. We used a flat black paint so that we could kind of hide the imperfections, and it does a great job for that. I've used it on grills before. I've used it on bumpers. Really a pretty good product. And we just take it off just kind of nice and slow and easy. Get that last little bit right there. Well, this inside one's coming off a little better. So as you can see, all we're trying to do is kind of hide what was underneath. And by the time we get done, it's something you won't look at anymore. It'll no longer be a distraction. There we go. Now from street level, just looking at it as a prospective truck buyer, it should look pretty darn good. Again, the reason for doing this is to kind of make it look like it isn't a problem and to kind of hide it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side. This kind of touch-up work you can really do all over the vehicle. Oops, we lost a little paint there, but not to worry, we can touch that up too. That's why I try to pull this off a little earlier before the paint gets too hard. Go. Hopefully when we get done you'll never notice that we were up here. There we go. I'll do a little touch up back there and it'll be good to go. And it looks kind of like that color of rubber molding. Bar and things like that will actually show up as problems. Now I do have a couple small chips in the windshield, but I don't feel like I want to put in a new windshield just for that. So go ahead and when you're doing the front windshield, go ahead and pull your wiper blades back, kind of get them out of the way. What we're going to be using is standard paper towels, a straight edge razor blade, and a good quality glass cleaner. You always want to lay down a small film of glass cleaner first before you touch it with the razor blade. Now the razor blade just makes it very easy to scrape off those really hard to get bugs. So let's lay down just a little quick light layer there. Take your straight edge razor blade and just kind of go over it. This will take all those bugs. It'll save you a lot of time. And the windshield will come out much, much nicer. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any areas. We got so much wax on the hood there, my materials don't seem to want to stay put, but that's okay. And you can actually feel it when you hit a bug. There we go. You can see I got a little bullet hole there. Nothing I can do about that, but it won't be quite so noticeable once the glass is clean. Now let's go ahead and go to the other side. Give that a little work over. Once again, we're going to spray a light film down. And what that does is it lubricates the razor blade so that it tends not to dig in or scratch the glass. There we go. We're just going to run across here. I only generally do this on the windshield because that's what collects most of the really tough stuff. Side windows and back window many times isn't necessary. Again, it's really important to use a good quality glass cleaner. It will certainly make your job a lot easier. Yeah, I can feel the rough stuff. It'll actually take off tar, take off bugs, and it'll take off any overspray you might have gotten on them.
And this would be a good time to take off any window stickers.
It's pretty critical too if you're going to thinking about transferring ownership to someone else is all the window stickers that you have. You may not want to let them go. And the truck just kind of looks cleaner without them as well, so this is a good time to remove all those stickers that really aren't going to mean anything to the next person. Okay. Okay, I think we've pretty well got the hard stuff off now with the razor blade. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and spray it down again before it dries. You can go ahead and spray your whole windshield, not too much, but get a nice even coat. Now that we removed some of the really heavy stuff, and grab lots of paper towels. They'll be your friend in your windshield cleaning.
Oh, do you have the built-in paper towel holder?
No,
The windshield wiper? Or the antenna?
the antenna makes a really good paper towel holder while you're doing this. You can just kind of peel them right off. Little trick I learned. Okay, and whether you're washing a car, whether you're doing a windshield or glass, one thing you want to remember is you always want to start at the top, because basically everything goes downhill. Now you can see how easy it was because we removed all the really tough stuff with the razor blade. And just make sure you get it really dry down into the corners. Again, don't let the wife see you using all her paper towels, but use whatever you need. You should be able to tell a big difference between the two sides now. So that glass has really come back. Even the chips don't show quite as bad. There we are. We're all done with that side. Okay. We'll go back over here and we're pretty much going to do the same thing on this side. You got to get a good stance, of course, so you can actually reach it. Sometimes I use a step ladder, but with the running boards on this truck, it's pretty easy. Start at the top. I'm using the same circular kind of motion I did when I was waxing. Just make sure you get all the material off the windshield. Get way down in there. Anything you leave will probably end up as a streak when you're finished. Look at that, isn't that special? And we're going to do the insides and the outside glass all the way around to match. As long as you got your glass cleaner handy, if you notice a little spot here or there, you got a little wax or something, that's a good time to kind of remove that too. But looks much better. I'm starting to fall in love with this old truck again.
You know, you could do you could use glass cleaner on the inner things there.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and remove. Now these are on the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and go on the inside. What we're going to do is use the straight edge razor blade in conjunction with a light coat of window cleaner. And that'll keep, again, from scratching the glass, and it'll make those decals come off look much easier. Okay, you don't want to put too much on there. We're just basically enough to lubricate the blade. And as you can see, they come off extremely easy. And the razor blade gets the glue as well as the sticker. It's a cute little sticker, but the new owner may not appreciate it. And actually, I will increase the visibility for them a little bit. Again, the key here is that straight edge razor blade and using the lubrication with the window cleaner. It kind of cleans and lubes it. So we're going to kind of work our way. This will be a little bit tougher. So we're going to kind of start here and kind of peel back.
Okay, let me get the other side. Stop a second. I just want to see what it looks like from the other side.
Kind of peel it back and cut the glue. One of the easiest things you can do. Then we're going to go ahead and go back and clean the whole window. Lots of paper towels. Remember, they're your friend. Start at the top. You want to go all the way across the other side. And be sure to get all the window cleaner off the window. Make it nice and dry. There we are. We have a nice clean window. Now I see we have a sticker on the other side. And I have better access here, so I'm going to scoot right on in here. Even though it's a little bit tight. And I'm going to get that other sticker over there. And once again, we're going to go ahead and start on the very edges there, right on the top, and kind of work our way down. You can add a little extra window cleaner at any time, and it really helps remove these guys. So, there we go. Give it a couple passes to make sure all that glue's off of there. And we're ready to go ahead and wash the outside window as well. Engine up.
Do the degreaser spray thing again. I wasn't recording.
I spray a commercial degreaser and try to get it into all the little cracks and things. Anywhere you might see a little bit of grease and detail work that needs to be done. And the plastic's very resilient, so you really don't have to worry about it. But you do have to get it off. So my engine is cold right now. I sprayed my degreaser on. I let that sit for about 10 minutes. Now, you have to get the degreaser off because it really smells bad, and your wife will probably nag you forever if you don't get it all out of there. So what I go ahead and do is I start my engine up and I let it run. I let the engine run while I take my garden hose and hose off all the degreaser. Now, the engine's running, so it tends to build a little heat and allows it to dry a little faster. And you still may get a little bit of a smell for a half hour or an hour, but you end up with a really nice looking detailed engine. It looks like something somebody would like to own. This probably looks as good right now as it did when I bought the truck. After 106,000 miles, I've degreased this engine probably 100 times since I've owned this truck. And this is the end result. By taking care of it, it really presents itself well, and it looks like a good quality product. So we're all done under here now. I've let it all dry. It looks good. We'll go ahead and drop our hood and go on to another area. There's a lot of spots. There's a little grease spot here. I've kept it pretty clean, so I really don't have to go in and shampoo, but you can use a commercially made upholstery cleaner, carpet cleaner, on the seats, the carpets, and everything. On a special spot like this, you kind of want to just spray it down. This is a degreaser and a cleaner at the same time. I'll spray it down, let it sit for just a second. Then you take a nice brush and just kind of work it in. And you can see it's really lifting that spot out of there. Now that wasn't a big deal, but it's the first thing somebody would have seen. So we'll let that dry a little bit more and we'll go ahead and vacuum it. Most people have a shop vac, or if you have a house vac, that works just fine too. You want to go ahead and vacuum all of your seats. You want to vacuum your carpet and really get in there and get around all these little cracks and crevices. If you can, get way back in, get underneath the seats, go to your back seat. Normally I'll take my mats completely out, vacuum everything underneath. That gives you a chance to clean the mats with just soap and water, car wash, anything you have, as far as home cleaning materials. Again, vacuum everything really well. Get all the dirt off this guy. Make it really nice and clean. Now, unfortunately, I am a smoker. And smokers have to take some extra steps when they go to resell their vehicles because not everyone appreciates that smell. So we're using a commercially available product that freshens up the upholstery, removes odors, and that sort of thing. So I just go ahead and spray it with a fabric interior. You just spray it, get it in real good, and let it soak. When you come out the next morning, you'll be absolutely impressed with how your vehicle smells. You may even want to quit smoking when it's over. Now on the dashboard, I've already cleaned it with Windex or a glass cleaning product. When you're done there, I'll use a product like Armor All or one of the vinyl conditioners. And
show the brush and vacuum trick.
oh, yeah. We're going to get some of these little cracks and crannies, and all you do is just take a regular paintbrush, and it's important to get all these little cracks out of here. You know, use your vacuum cleaner, and this will break them loose and go right behind it, and you can get all the little things out of your vent. You can clean up your radio, your ashtray, all the little vent work and this stuff. It's these little details that really can make a difference in that new look. Again, this is a 106,000 mile truck. I've been nice to it, but sometimes not always kind, and it does get dirty. So you can make it look really fresh and nice again with just a little bit of effort. I spent probably 10 to 15 minutes completely doing the dash, and hey, it looks new again. Time well spent.
How do you roll back the speedometer?
Not a good idea.
You can't do that, but at least you can make it look like.
You can make it look like you did. Right.
Oh, we should let's touch on getting around here.
Yeah.
The jammies.
Door jams are something that a lot of people really tend to overlook, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of time. I'm going to get a clean rag, and once again, you can use any commercial material or even household cleaners. Do a fine job, and clean out these door grills. You can see they're just a little dusty and dirty, so I'll go ahead and just spray these down. Not too much, you don't want it to run everywhere, but go overhead. When they first open that door, they may not even notice it, but that's okay. You don't really want them to notice it. You want it to just look good. And you can probably see a big difference here. And if you don't believe it, just look at your rag when you're done. See how much nicer that looks? Just a small little detail, but it really makes a difference in that first impression when they open up the door. I haven't done these for a while, so they really needed to be done. You can hit your sill plates at the same time. And they may not look new, but they'll certainly look much, much better. Makes that old paint kind of come back to life a little bit. And I have even on occasion waxed the door jambs when I had more time. But just a simple little trick here makes a big difference when you first open that door. Again, look at all that. I mean, if you're going to take the time to wash your vehicle...
Show me the dirt. Show me the dirt, man.
That's just some of the dirt, yeah. And that's...
Okay. That's door jams. Got to be careful not to scratch the plastic on the speedometer and stuff. That's a dead giveaway that it's been over detailed if it's all scratched. A million and 6 miles.
106,000. All right, good time.
Oh, say something about this steering wheel cover too. Are you going to take it off, leave it on, or?
I'm going to pretend I just put it on.
Okay.
There are accessories you can buy to kind of dress up your car's interior if you have off-road problems. Underneath here, my steering wheel is getting a little bit edgy. The leather's a little bit worn. So for $9, I put on a steering wheel cover. Kind of dresses it up, gives it a little bit of a grip, and there's many, many different types to choose from. Floor mats are always a really good idea. It just tells the next owner you actually care. And it also keeps wear and keeps your carpet nice. These are really inexpensive, but they really tend to protect the carpet. Not new, but a real inexpensive little dress-up item. Now later on, we're going to go pick up a little, maybe a little thermometer or something. As you see, I have a chip spot in the mirror. Well, I don't feel like going out and buying a brand new mirror, so I'm going to put a little something on there like a thermometer or a compass to kind of hide that blemish, and that's just a little trick you can use. Other products can be used to hide other little problems as well.
You'll want to make sure to take all your personal stuff out.
You want to take all your personal items out of the vehicle, because they aren't going to mean much to the next guy, but you know, they'll mean a lot to you. You got used to them.
Okay. I think we've done interior and then some.
On any vehicle you're cleaning up, use the dressing the wheels and tires. You may have fancy chrome wheels, you may just have hubcaps, but getting those tires nice and clean. Now these tires are about half there, but they're still a good looking tire and they're worth kind of dressing up a little bit. So what I do is I scrub them down with soap and water, which I've already done.
Let's do it. Have you done the other side in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done all.
Have you done all of them but this one?
I've done them all, even this one.
Okay.
It just has to be wiped
Because
off.
this is pretty bright.
Oh, okay. Doesn't matter which one you start on.
Okay. Yeah, the light's better over here. Okay.
Detailing your wheels and tires can make a big difference in the overall look. Most vehicles have pretty nice looking wheel covers, or they have a chrome wheel like this, or maybe an aluminum alloy rim. The tires, regardless of condition, they can all clean up and then give it that nice virgin rubber look, you know. I use a product, and there's many of them on the market, which actually cleans and puts a nice finish on the tire as well. And generally what you do there is you just spray it on, kind of let it soak in. Most of them will tell you, or at least some of them will tell you, that you don't have to wipe it off, but I wipe it off anyway. It just produces a nicer, more even finish. And it brings that rubber right back to a natural new tire look, regardless of how old you are. If you have raised white letters like this one, you can take regular Comet cleanser from the kitchen and get them nice and clean and white again. And then you put on it's basically, I think, a silicone-based product, which brings that rubber back and makes it look much better. Now the wheels I just cleaned, and they can be meticulous in terms of, or they can be difficult in terms of getting in the little cracks and crannies. I've already done a pretty good job with a brush, soap and water, and got most of the dirt off. Now I'm using the same wax that I used on the truck. I applied it a little earlier and just waxed the chrome, let it dry to a haze, and just take a clean dry cloth, come back, wipe that haze off. Those old chrome wheels will come right back nice and shiny again. Does a real nice job on them. If you don't feel like waxing them, even if you just clean them and wipe them down, it gives you a real nice look. These are in pretty good shape. If you have rust on your wheels, you can a lot of times use a regular SOS pad, and the soap that's in the pad will actually keep you from scratching them terribly. There we go. I'm going to get kind of in the little cracks here where I have the wax. Now the center here is just plastic, but it waxes up quite well too. And those little cracks, so it just looks like you kept them nice and clean. And there we go. The overall look is really much improved and looks a lot more like they did when I first bought the truck many years ago. There you go.
Excellent.
I'll repeat this on the other four, and
Okay. Plastics.
we're going to go spend a little time here on some of the plastics, because most of the newer vehicles have a lot of plastic on them, and most of it is a black plastic. You can get wax on it, and once you do, it can be really difficult. But again, there's a lot of products. What you do is you want to clean the plastic. Here on our front bumper we have a black strip, and you can see I've gotten a little bit of wax on it here, and it's gotten kind of dull too. This is a product called Back to Black, and it just kind of soaks up into the plastic, because the plastic becomes extremely dry. And you put a little of this on, and it'll bring that black right back. It kind of moistens the plastic up a little bit. Gives it that nice black plastic look it had when it was new. You can use this pretty much on any of the plastics on your vehicle safely. You can see a big difference when you stand back here, and that black plastic really shines again. This didn't take hardly anything to make it look good. You get a little on the chrome, just wipe it off. Very nice. Let's try a little bit up around our windshield wipers. They always, and look at the difference that makes. Just get it right down in there. You can use it on the rubber, use it on the plastic. Does a really nice job. Now here you can see the black on our windshield wiper. It's really getting kind of faded. This is going to add just a little bit of moisture right back in there. And see what a nice job that does. The paint that's on there actually soaks the product up and makes it really a nice consistent color again. These are just little things, but they can make a huge difference in how the overall vehicle turns out. And again, that really valuable first impression. Let's try a little bit around. Maybe got a little wax on it or what have you. And